Off you go, Chels.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. The session is going to begin shortly. Please feel free to ask any questions about student life in the SU in the Q&A box, which is just to the right of your screen, and we'll do our best to answer them at the end of the presentation. So in about 4 minutes, we'll get started. Hello everyone, thanks for joining us this afternoon. This session is going to be presented by Sam, who's our current SU President, and Mary-Anne, who's our upcoming SU President. Throughout the session, please feel free to use the Q&A box to the right of your screen and ask any questions you may have about student life and the SU. So Sam, would you like to start?
Yes. Hello everyone, I'm Sam. There we go, just getting the PowerPoint working there. So I'm Sam, I'm the current SU President, only for about this is like final sort of 2 or 3 weeks in the role now. It's almost like time has flown by, and who could have predicted COVID-19 as well. But yes, hi everyone. So today's session is about student life and the Students' Union. So we'll try and cover both sort of like in a balanced sort of way. So as you can see, the sort of core SU team, obviously it's not just us 3 at this point. It will include SU officers and other staff and other students eventually, especially when we get to Welcome Week in September. But for now, the main sort of core team involved with the Students' Union is myself, I'm the retiring Students' Union President, and I have been the President since September 2018 until July 2020. And then the next President and Vice President will be Mary-Ann Letham, who will speak in a moment, and then Nella, who cannot join us today because she's actually in Spain with family, which is nice. So yeah, so basically, but nevertheless you'll get to meet everybody in September, which will be good. So yeah, so a bit about myself to begin with, and then I'll tell you a bit about Nella, and then I'll pass on to Mary-Ann. So really, I'm from a rural town in North Yorkshire, and so out in the countryside, and then I moved away from home to go to Manchester and study at the Arden, which is one of Nichols, and that's one of the campuses, and it's part of UCEN Manchester. And I studied theatre and performance, and I'll talk a bit more about my experience on that course later on. But while I was there, I was a student rep, and I also contributed regularly to the Students' Union B blog, and then I became a paid student advocate role and sort of worked my way up, so to speak, to then become the Students' Union President. And we're still in our infancy as a Students' Union, so hence the small team that have been appointed to develop the Students' Union. And but it's also an exciting time as well, because it's all about what our new students can offer in September as well and onwards. So we'll talk a bit about that later. But that's kind of my journey, so in a nutshell. So it's been a whirlwind sort of last few years really, but it's been a really life-affirming and transformative journey, and I have loved every second. It's also been really challenging as well, but that's the whole thing. There's the challenging times, and then there's your success and your achievement, and it's been a really amazing time. And then to tell you a bit about Nella, who you'll see meet properly in September. She studies animation at Fielden campus, which is also where the Manchester Film School is, but she previously studied biochemistry in Liverpool, where she was a committee for the archery club there. So that's interesting. And she's also been and still is, she's a passionate advocate for student voice, and has got many ideas for important subjects surrounding mental health, because we have our mental health and wellbeing campaign that we're developing as part of the Students' Union in collaboration with UCEN Manchester. And she believes that you shouldn't ask for help because you believe or they shouldn't ask for help, students, because they believe they don't need it as much as others. It's about before mental health kind of reaches crisis point. It's access those services if you need to, and we have the Future You Support Service, and I was also part of that presentation and webinar the other day, and we've been sharing our self-help tips and techniques as part of the Students' Union, and sharing mental health and wellbeing apps on our social media. So she's passionate about mental health, she's passionate about student voice, and she really wants to push kind of taster events, both online events primarily this year, for societies and campaigns, so that people can get to know one another, because there's the social aspect to the Students' Union as well, and it's about feeling part of the whole and feeling part of that overall community. And those are the ideas and values that she has, which is fantastic, and that's really good values for a vice president for the Students' Union. And I know that our current will be president in August, September time, Mary-Ann, I know that she has similar views as well that I'm sure she'll talk about throughout the presentation. So at this point, I'm now going to pass you on to Mary-Ann, who's going to tell you a bit about her student journey before we crack on with the rest of the PowerPoint and presentation and talk about all sorts of things that are really going to be exciting for you. So yes, Mary-Ann.
Thank you, Sam. So hello, everyone. As we said, welcome. I am Mary-Ann, and I will be the current Student Union's president in August. I'm super excited to welcome those of you who'll be starting in September and getting to know everybody and getting to know what your interests and your passions are, which is super exciting for me. So little bit about myself. I am a mature student. I studied for the last 3 years at the Openshaw campus in the Cube, and I did network security in the computing department, and I actually graduate this year, so woo! Also as well, so I was a little bit, I was a class representative in my first year, which was, I found really enjoyable. It was really enjoyable to speak to my class and see what it was that they wanted and feed that back and get things moving for the students in our class. In my final year, I was also not only a class rep, but I graduated up to being a core rep or a senior rep to represent the whole computing department. So I spoke to lots of different people. I spoke to all the different classes. I spoke to lots of different years. And it was really interesting to see things that were very similar, what everybody wanted to be the same, but also things that people wanted for different reasons because of their different needs. So that was really cool. And this last year as well, I was also a paid student advocate like Sam was. I really enjoyed that, going out and meeting students and hearing what their hopes for the future were, and like just getting to talk to people and find out what the younger generation are looking forward to most and what their career paths are going to be. And then this year I applied obviously as well to become Student Union's president, and I'm really happy to have got the position. And I'm just thrilled to be able to continue the amazing work that Sam's already done for the last 2 years, but also do what I feel is important. And as Sam said, me and Nella have very similar sort of wants and desires, especially with the mental health. We really want people to feel that they can speak to somebody, that they're comfortable, but we'll talk more about that later. So first of all, I think we're going to move to the Student Union offer, and I think Sam is going to tell us a little bit about that.
Sorry, Sam, you're just on mute.
There we go. Sorry about that. I'm not sure why I was on mute there. I'll go from the current slide. Hopefully you can see that now. Is that okay? All good? Right. So, take two. So as you can see at the top there, we've got our social media handles. So if you happen to have your phones on you right now, please give us a follow on one of those channels, because basically it's especially with Instagram, it's a nice visual way of tracking the story really and the journey that we've been on as a students' union, and we'll touch upon that a bit more later on, like with campaigns and societies, but it's a really good visual way of seeing everything we've done, and it might also spark ideas of what to expect, you know, coming sort of into UCEN in September time. And yeah, so definitely have a look at that as you're listening and watching this webinar. So what to expect and why you should get involved. Well, first of all, let's talk about the sort of definition of what a students' union is. So the students' union, in short, it's run by students, it's for students, and it's here to support you, and it provides fantastic opportunities for you to meet new people, get involved with campaigns and events, and aims to make your time at UCEN Manchester even more enjoyable. Now, it sort of differs from bigger universities that are sort of in the closer area, because their students' unions, they have like a separate building, separate physical location, and we've got really exciting plans for the new build, which I'm sure you'll find out about when you enrol in September, because you know there's a lot of fantastic, amazing plans for UCEN Manchester and the Manchester College as well going forward, and that will include like a dedicated space for the Students' Union in there as well. But at the moment, this is something that you can join in with at every campus, because there's a dedicated space and an area at every campus. So in short, we empower students to create their own societies and campaigns, and we support student voice in a nutshell. So there's lots to do, and it's rewarding work, and yeah, so that's something to bear in mind for sure. I believe I'll be talking a bit about societies, and then I'll move on, pass on to Marianne, who will tell you a bit about the campaigns we've done in the past. So this is what to expect. You know, the images, it's that cliche of a picture is is worth 1,000 words, or there's lots of stories that you can get from one image. So you have 6 there that you can see in front of you, and each one I'm just going to unpick a little bit and tell you a bit about each society, and kind of the stories of the certain people you can see in the images there. The top left hand corner there is the Tech Society. So the guy who's at the front there, he's delivering a presentation, and it was the first time he'd ever done anything like it. So from a confidence perspective and growing his confidence, this is the first time he delivered any kind of presentation, and it was using Microsoft Excel, and it was about business strategies and keeping track of like key sort of KPIs and certain actions, that, you know, like a complex to-do list basically, but one that you could filter and one that you could kind of control and look at using Microsoft Excel. Again, you know, I'm learning just as much from students. So when I attended and supported these sessions, and I supported the society, you know, I was learning so much things that I never thought I'd, you know, learn about, because I did a performing arts degree. So I was learning all sorts of useful things, but the main thing was that guy that did that presentation, it was a real confidence boost for him, because it was the first time he'd ever done something quite like it to the rest of the Tech Society, and that's really cool. And then the sort of top centre there is the Creative Networking Society, which is usually based at North London, but this is at our field and campus. So this is your student committee that you see here, and obviously I'm sort of facilitating the process, because that's what we do. We support students to, and we empower them to create their own societies and campaigns. And as you can see here, you know, they're following the Society's Handbook, and the thinking of ideas about the Creative Networking Society and the future of it, which basically takes advantage of like all our talented students, because we're a wonderfully diverse sort of student body. We've got loads of different kinds of students, and different students with different stories and different backgrounds, and they've been on different journeys. But we also have a lot of diverse talent here at UCEN Manchester as well. So and in terms of the creative and the arts kind of side of those courses, we've got many courses, whether it be animation, whether it be filmmaking, whether it be acting, whether it be visual arts. So that's what the society is all about. It's like it's coming together, students coming together to collaborate on projects, and that's really cool. And I know that the previous chairperson has put together a proposal for, you know, it to continue in the future and just grow even more. And then we've had numerous suggestions, like in the past we've had like a film club suggested. At the bottom there, that's more to do with our campaigns, but our SU officers have supported societies as well as campaigns. So that's just really a snapshot of what to expect. And in terms of societies, I know one of the questions we had recently was about kind of online societies. And the fact that we are going to be online kind of September onwards. But what we have now is kind of that contingency plan in place, and we've been working really hard, the SU officers and the central team, to make sure that you can still have the same experience, meet people, and you know, it's the social aspect. It's about increasing those employability skills, that experience for your CV, as well as having fun, and that's the main thing, and making those connections. But we can do that in a virtual environment, whether it be Skype, Teams, over social media, and a lot of our existing societies have social media pages anyway. So it's just about continuing that all that hard work from those students before, and again, we're always evolving and we're always shaping that experience. And it's an exciting time. It's a challenging time. It's a different time this time now. But I think, you know, there's a lot of creative potential we can get from it. So that's about societies. So in a nutshell, and again, if you've got any more questions, all you need to do is just ask questions in that chat. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass over to Mary-Ann, who will tell you more about the campaigns that we've got on offer, and that we've been working on over the last, particularly the last 2 academic years. And I'll make sure that I'm not on mute again as well when I next come on for my next slide. But yes, over to you, Mary-Ann.
Thank you. So yeah, we have two main campaigns that we've been working on at this present moment in time, but that's not to say that we don't concentrate on other ones as well. We have many that we'd like to work on. So as you can see there's Sam meeting the Manchester Mayor, Andy Burnham, and that was for the anti-single-use plastics campaign. So this campaign was actually started by student reps and class members in their response to like climate change and how they feel about the use of single-use plastics on campus. And alongside Manchester College, UCEN, and other universities, with the support of Greater Manchester Combined Authority, a meeting was made and a pledge was created, signed to work towards eradicating avoidable single-use plastics in catering, lab and in stationery across Greater Manchester University's further colleges by 2022. So Sam has led this campaign with gusto here at UCEN, and to the point that the catering department is now 80% single-use plastics free. And obviously I plan, because I care for the environment, I plan to carry this on because I want that achievement to be made ideally before 2022, but you know, COVID has put a bit of a hamper on that, but we'll try and we will do it by 2022, and I think it's fantastic. So like Sam should be really proud of what he's achieved so far, and we need to carry that on. Now, the other main campaign is, as Sam has touched upon this, is the Mental Health Charter and Awareness campaign. So the SU is supporting the creation of this charter, which covers the LTE group as a whole. Obviously, we're really UCEN and TMC, and it's to help support not just the student body, because obviously you guys are important, but also the staff that work here as well, with any mental health concerns that they may have whilst they're working and you're studying here. And we want to make this a safe environment for anybody who comes here for work and study. Appropriate training is going to be given to staff, which means that hopefully we can create some safe spaces once we're getting back onto campus, and especially with the new build, where students and staff can go to breathe, have a peace for 5 minutes, because everybody deals with it differently. So it's just there for you to be able to do what you need to do to go and speak to somebody. There's also an app and advice that will be given to all students and staff, especially with the current circumstances. I don't know about you guys, but it's hard for me. I like being at home, but like when you've only got your husband as the point of contact, one human to talk to all the time, you get the delivery person comes to your door and you're like, speak to me. I need human contact. So for me personally, this is really important. It was one of my main points on my manifesto when I applied for the presidency role. I really want to work on this, and I feel that anybody who comes to UCEN and TMC, we should all feel that we're welcome, we're included, that we're not excluded for any reason whatsoever, because there's no reason to be like that. So I want everybody to feel welcome. So those are our two main campaigns, but we are always passionate about having students come to us about anything that you guys are passionate about, and we want to hear what you have to say, and we'll support the students and staff in creating new campaigns. So to have a think, if you're starting in September, have a little think, have a talk to like your classmates when you start,